Right, this is a first for me. I'm in my workshop, but I've got a table at the far end, and I've got a leaf up of the table, and I'm working on that table because I wanted a bit more room than the worktop affords me. So I want to begin the garment piece. Well, I guess it's fashion. I've got no dressmaking skills whatsoever, but I can cobble together the front of a baby's jacket. And that's what I'm going to do here. So what I've got here, this is pattern paper that I've had since university. Although I didn't get any fashion training at uni, I've really got to get that out there because I've zero knowledge of fashion really. But like I say, I'll try anything once. So this is pattern paper, and I did find it much easier to draw out my pattern using this. So what I've done is, you probably haven't got any, you probably don't know where to get any. So I've taken a photograph of this, and maybe you can print it out. Because my thing's only tiny. It's tiny, what I've come up with for my piece. It's, I said it'd be small. It's 6 inches by 3.5, 4 at its widest point. So it is really tiny. And you might think, what's the point then? But there will be a point, and we'll get to that. So I've taken a photograph of this for you. So hopefully you can print that out if you want to use this. So I'll put this bit away now, I don't need this bit. And then on here, I haven't got much of this, it was just some I found in an old portfolio. So I drew out the full thing there, and it was so much easier, like I say, using this pattern paper, because you think, right, from that dot across 2 diagonally, and then 2 across there and 2 down, and then a bit of a curve 4 down, and it was just easier. So that's my garment shape that I'm taking my section from, okay? So this is my section. Now I'm going to have to cut that out. I haven't got any paper scissors. Just a minute. Oh yeah, I've got some behind me. So I need to cut that out and transfer it to my fabric that I'm going to work on. But what I'm going to say is, so when I've made this, when I've embroidered this and titivated it and damp stretched it, what am I going to do with it? Well, I'm actually going to put it on here. Maybe not on this bit, but do another bit. Draw it out on another bit and fit that in there, and maybe embroider in the rest. May partially put fabric in or something. Now really it should have a line across the back, shouldn't it? I'll just get up and get a pencil. Get my paper scissors. To be a proper garment drawing, sorry, that was my foot. It should have a recognition that there's a reverse. Okay, so that's there. I probably will draw it out again, and I'll draw that out again, and then put the embroidered bit on there, on the different thing that I draw out, the second one. But what I'm thinking is, so you could put the embroidered bit on there when we've done it, and then the back is ripe. Just tiny little bits of titivation, so maybe across the back at the bottom, maybe down this front bodice, maybe round the sleeve, just minimal titivation on that bit on the paper, but have the fabric, embroidered fabric piece here. And then you can put it in a frame, you can throw it in a drawer, you can shove it in a box, you can do whatever you want with it. I might, if it's appealing enough, I might put mine in a frame without glass. I don't like putting textiles and things behind glass. So I will also take a photograph of this for you as well. In fact, I should do that before I cut that out, shouldn't I? So just let me do that now. And then you've got a reference. If you want to exactly copy what I'm doing, that's fine. You've got a reference here to do that. So let me just... And the reason you might notice there's a curve here, the reason for that, well, you might probably can't see in the camera, but there, because this is some pattern paper that I used when I was cutting out an ironing board cover for one of my projects in my degree. I wasn't making an ironing board cover, I was making something in the shape of an ironing board cover. So what I need to do now is cut this out, and I need to transfer it to fabric, this shape. Okay, so you're getting this, I think you're getting this, so you're getting this on the 23rd, And then, so that's the Monday. And then on the 29th, not the 30th, because I'm going away on the 30th. I'm flying to Sweden on the 30th. On the 29th, you're going to get like a double post to take you through to the 14th of October. But hopefully, if you get really into this, you can be working on this while I'm on holiday. I might actually see if I can order some of this on the internet, purely because it'd be nice in collage or in artist books. So we can put that to one side now. And then I might have a nice pristine piece. You can get it with pink markings on it, I quite like them. So maybe it'll look prettier for me. Although I do like that because it references the functional, doesn't it, in the creativity, and you know what I mean, the process of creating. And the thing about this is as well, I went to see a Christian Dior exhibition recently at the V&A, and in addition to all these beautifully embroidered couture garments and things, he also had all these toiles, all these basic muslin prototypes on display, and they were amazing. So I'm trying to channel my inner Christian Dior here. Right, so I've got some fabric here to use as a backing. Now this fabric, I bought it for this on the edge. You can't see anything there, just let me. Bought it for this, so the centre bit's a bit redundant really. Even though it's got these lines on, it doesn't really matter. So I want a piece that's big enough to put this on, and also to gain my hoop and damp stretch, because I won't cut it out from here until I finish the embroidery. So I'll cut it up there. Okay. I love this fabric. I think I bought some for a friend of mine as well. I don't know if she's used it yet. I haven't used it. I only bought this width. I didn't buy. I wasn't going to buy a whole metre just because I wanted the edge of it, you know what I mean? Right, so now, no, I don't have a board. Well, I do, I've got a board under here actually, so I don't know why. I was thinking for a firm surface to draw on, to transfer this over. So if that's the front, okay, I need to put this upside down on the back so that it's the right way on the front. And I should, in all honesty, pin it on where it doesn't move about. So if I'm pinning through paper, I use old pins, and my old pins are identifiable because they've got bigger heads than my new ones. My new ones are Dritz silk pins with the little white heads, so I use these older ones for pinning through paper and for pricking and stuff, because you'd be surprised how easy it is to blunt a pin. And then if you take a blunt pin and try to, say, pin a piece of fine fabric or lace or silk, you can cause untold damage. So be aware of that. Pins don't last forever, unfortunately. Right, so if I draw around this now, and don't muck it up, Karen. This is the kind of thing, for some reason, that I easily muck up. See, like, I'm not even close to the edge. I might have been better with a card template, which you could do if you like to. You just transfer it to card and then cut that out, because here, 1 mile from the edge there, and there, I've got a stitch round this when I've done this, so I hope I can differentiate. So then I'm going to stitch around this with a DMC cotton machine thread, and then it'll be visible from the front, and then we're going to start piecing beautiful lace and stuff to go on top of this to fill this shape. So hopefully that's that. Now I'm going to keep this. Okay, so that's the back. I'm going to keep that, so I need to pin it to here. And when I say I'm channeling my inner Christian Dior, don't think for 1 minute I'd be happy to see him for judgment. I don't know, I live like, what on earth is this? What is wrong with you? Little scissors. I've got so many pairs of little scissors and some of them are ruined. I've got a new pair in the house, so I forgot to bring them. Anyway, they were sufficient, they cut that beautifully, so that's alright. So literally, just running stitch around. I don't think I need to hem this fabric either like I would with silk. It is fraying a little bit, but it's not like silk. But as I'm working on it, if I do get to a point where I think it's over fraying, it's fraying too much, then I will turn it over at the top and put a little hem on it. I'm just going to stop and put that mat back, because that mat cuts down the noise of my bracelets banging on this mat. Just a minute. You'll notice I've got two of these, this one. Well, you probably can't see them, let me just... Can you see this lilac-y one? Right. Well, that lilac-y one, I ordered this one, which is an A1. No, it's not A1, it's A2. At least I thought I did. It turns out I ordered the A1 instead, so I thought, well, I'll keep it anyway because it's bigger and it might come in useful one day. But they're both the same because that's that colour on the back. That lilac. Lovely, not like your boring green, which is good. So, now where that's fraying up there, if I take, because my thread's catching on that, hopefully, take that off. And then that'll be an end to it. It won't do it anymore, hopefully. Right. So because I'm at this table, the camera's behind me and it's hard to see that you can see. So I'll just stitch around your outline. Now this is just normal pencil. May or may not fade in time, but it's on the back, it doesn't matter. You can use tailor's chalk, but I have a very poor relationship with tailor's chalk insofar as I'm too heavy-handed. I always end up snapping it. I don't advocate the use of those wash-away pens because I've seen disasters with them, and I know they're very rare, maybe 1 in a million, but I don't want my work to be the 1 in a million. It gets ruined because it won't wash out. So I find this is the best way to do this. Just do it on the back and then run in stitch, and then you can see it from the front. And then you've got a guide on where to fill and where to place all your laces and things, because I'm going to be using laces for this. I'm in a lot of pain today. I had an accident a couple of weeks ago. I spilt a pan of boiling water on my foot. and I had to go to accident emergency and all the skin came off and everything. It's hideous and it's been really painful, but it was getting better. I've had antibiotics and I'm going every few days to get the dressing changed, but for some reason it's really painful today. I'm going back tomorrow, so I should find out then if it's alright, because I can't see, you see, because it's under all the dressings. So yeah, I'm a bit quiet because I'm feeling a bit off. Can't even see that on there. I can barely make that out, you know. Barely. Oh, well, that's never happened before. I'm just wondering, maybe I'm loath to draw on it though. I'm wondering if I go around again from the right side in the spaces, or maybe I should have done it with Cotton Broader. Can't even see the top one. Oh, Karen. I can see it when I hold it like that. Maybe if I go around again in the spaces. Let me just do a couple of them and turn it over and see if it's making any difference. So like perhaps I should have stitch it with back stitch or running stitch to make it a heavier line. And I'm loath, as I think I've told you, I'm loath to use anything but white because there will be little fibres that I can't remove if I do. I think, yeah, that is marginally better. So I can't even see the bit I've done. So I'll go around it again. I think it might be because there's quite a bit of a sheen on this fabric, but then there's a sheen on silk and it doesn't. I can see it on silk. But hopefully this will work. And there's nothing I can do about my foot, just ride it out. Because it had been getting better, I hadn't hurt for a bit. I don't know. Sorry about this, it's taking me longer than I anticipated because I'm going round again. My niece got engaged recently in Stockholm. She lives in Stockholm because my brother lives in Sweden, he doesn't live in Stockholm. But my niece lives in Stockholm. So while we're there, I'm going to go and visit her and take her an engagement present and stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing her actually. She's 28. So what we're doing is flying into Stockholm on the Monday, staying in a hotel through to Friday, and then getting a train to where my brother lives on Friday and spending the weekend with my brother before we come back the following Monday. But then I'm going to Knitting and Stitching Show as soon as I come back in London. I promised somebody that I would go a long time ago, so it's going to be a quick turnaround for me really. But I haven't been to the Knitting and Stitching Show for a long time. I really want to go. So I better not spend all my pocket money in Sweden, had I? Right, I think I'm there now. Right, hopefully when I turn this over it'll be more visible. Let me just get... I'll just have a drink. Right, it's still not brilliant. I can see it, but I guess you can't, but then you don't need to. Don't know what to do. I could put pins there, I guess, and then it's visible to you. Maybe outline it with pins as well, although there's a bit of curves going on here, so it might be quite difficult. So that's across the top there. And then it's down here for the neckline. I might have to take these out though if they get in the way of placing my fabric. And then there. And then there. And there. And my son got engaged last week. So happy, so happy. But my niece got engaged in Stockholm recently, and my nephew also in another part of England got engaged recently, so that's 3 of them. So I'm like, oh, have a triple wedding, it'd be cheaper. But I don't think that's going to happen. Although I'm not paying for the wedding, so I don't suppose it matters to me. Right, so hopefully you can see that. Now, what a palaver just getting to this point there. And that one there. And then another one there. And that's it. So, doesn't look anything like my thing. Where's my thing? I pinned it on there, didn't I? Because it's upside down, that's why. So yeah, fits. Alright, it's fine. So now I need to fill this with lace and things as a base for my hand embroidery. So I've got, oops, I do apologise, I keep catching that on my foot. Sorry about that. Right, I just want to get a bit of this to pick up those fibres. Get rid of them. Right, so I need to move here so you can see. Right, so I've got some lace here that I've pressed to use to fill this. Now this is a garment part, the sleeve area of a garment. I'm not bothered about keeping it in that shape, but I've got this I could use. Got some of this, I like this. This is dotted stuff. So maybe I could put quite a big bit of that on there to give me another base, like as a layer on top of that base. So what I could do, I don't know if that's wide enough though, because actually no, because what I'm thinking is, this is very fine, just raggy net. So I could put that on there, okay, and then pin it round. So use these pins to pin it round. And then perhaps when I've got my layers built up, I could stitch it again from the back. And because there'll be layers of other fabric on here, it might show up better before I start the hand embroidery. What do you think? So that's that. So it's this, I think this is linen, it's like linen like this. So that's the base with the initial drawing on. This is a very fine, very old bit of net that fall apart as soon as you look at it. It's so fragile. So that's on top. Next, I'm going to put some of that dotted stuff on. So it will be quite a substantial piece of cloth, this. I guess I could take these pins out before I lay this on. Because when I cut this off, I'm not going to cut it to the shape necessarily exactly. I'm going to leave a bit overlapping. So I'll take that off. Take these out and then repin it, and then when I've put this all together, I'll turn the camera off and baste around that shape again on the back, and then hopefully, because it's going through so many layers, in fact I need to know where my parameters are though for laying down the dotted stuff. When there's a few layers on here, the basting for the outline might show up a bit more. So that one can be cut across here. I'll keep this though because it's lovely as a, it ruffles up beautifully this. I did something in terms of like ruffling it up for ledger class with that yesterday and it worked really well. So I'll cut it there and then I'll cut it across there. So fine, it's almost not there, non-existent. I don't know if this is wide enough to be honest. So I can see my line there, my line. Oh. I can see my line there and there. That's the widest point. I'm just going to have to, I don't really want to put it on and then put another bit of this there because I think it'd be too obvious. So if I put that there and then cut that off about there and keep that and then get maybe a bit of this because this is dotted but it's not exactly the same and that could go there. And that could go there. So I've got 3 layers there now. So I'm going to pin round it now, although I can't see it now. So it's there. It's just to give me a guide. I don't have to pin round it exactly, because it's just to give me a guide for my parameters for laying the next stuff out, you know. Because the next stuff will be going down in smaller amounts. So just really want my outer edges like marked so I know what I'm doing. So if I go across there, how long is this file? 27. Alright, yeah, for a bit. It's just if they get too big, they get difficult to upload. That one. One there. This is basic. Actually, I could have used the paper thing, couldn't I? I'm going to put it on here now. It's basic pinning, like I said, just to... Where's that other one? So it's about there. Right, okay. So now, I've got all this other beautiful stuff. I actually kept this on purpose because I love this ruffle. Look at that ruffle. Now that ruffle could play a part, couldn't it? So it's got a lot of net attached to it. But if I'm wondering if I take it off the ruffle, will it remain ruffled or will it come undone? Let me just try this end. Oh no, it wants to remain as a ruffle. So that's good. Because I think that's lovely. I might not do it vertical, I might do it horizontal. Just let me snip it off. So just play, like get your basic shape, Matt. Mind you, that's not long enough there. It comes to a seam. I'll have to do it this end. Get your basic shape. Play about laying out fine fabrics to build up the surface. And then get your pretty precious bits to put together on the top. Okay. So that, I'm trying to think where I would want that, where it wouldn't be obvious to put it. So maybe it would be better vertical than horizontal. If I put it across there, it's got a bit of a raggy edge, but I'm not bothered about that. I'm so cack-handed, honestly. Right, so when I've pinned it, I'll check that it's within my boundaries and within my lines on the back. Now all this will be basted down, so I'll be basting around the outside, but I'll also be basting this down and anything else that I put on. Yeah, it does. Right, so I think if I cut that there, right, definitely keeping that. Now this is lovely, but this is just a raggy old offcut of something. So I'm thinking, I wonder if it might be nice down there. Can't tell which is the right and the wrong side, to be honest. I think that's the right side. So let me just cut a small strip of this. And that could go across the join of those two dotty bits and under there. So I need to cut a bit more off that. I keep all these offcuts, you know, because you never know when it's going to come in. There. So if I pin that down as well. Oh. So this, oh, it's so much basting, but it's worth it before we even get to the embroidery bit. And what else have we got? I didn't bring as much as I thought I had, to be honest. I've got lots of nets. I've got that stuff I've just put on there. Got the other offcut of that. That might be nice there actually. Just as a contrast, not a contrast, like a... No, but then I don't want it too prescribed. Oh, I've got this, I love this. I wonder if I can put a bit of this in it. I bought this at a flea market in Berlin. What I'm thinking is the daisies, you see. So if I cut up there, might go across the top of that ruffle. Yeah, and I'm going to cut it deliberately too short, because then won't look out of place. If I did it the full length across, but I got my calculations wrong and it stopped dead, it would be more obvious that it was too short through pure measurement and too short through design, which this is too short through design. Okay, so that's that. I think, in all honesty, now that I should probably be stitching around it again to get my lines again, because it's quite difficult here to determine what needs to be where. I've got this as well, I love this. I could have maybe just that bit, and then actually I'll do that bit first, and then what I'll have to do, this is just part of an old hanky, is redo my outlines, and then I'm more informed in terms of parameters when I come to start filling those spaces. And also, it's not necessarily essential to fill every space, but I will get a better sense of that when I've done my outlines, how it looks with open space, etc. Very difficult to make an assessment really, because the outlines aren't obvious. If I do them in Gutermann and they're still not massively visible, I'll go back and do them in cotton abroader, white cotton abroader, because that, with that being quite thick, that'll show up better, I'm sure. So I put that little pile there and pin that in there. Right, so I don't think I'll be moving any of these now. So I could base these down as well and do my outlines, and then I'll have a better sense of what needs putting where, if anything at all. I definitely think I'm going to need something up here, because otherwise it'll be unbalanced. But the other areas might be alright with a bit of space, and it's not to say that you can't stitch in them either, just because there's nothing else laid down. This embellishing these is going to be more about the edges, to be honest. So it might be nice to have a bit of open space to do some denser embroidery than an edge, if that makes sense. So that's what I'll do. Okay.